Hey DMs, what's the dumbest move your players tried that actually worked? Us D&D players can never really get enough. Whether you play 3 times a week or once a month, part of you always craves more. We get our fix however we can, by watching short stories online, D&D live streams, Baldur's Gate. Well, allow me to offer you something new. The best available follows a party of new adventurers trying to make a name for themselves in hopes of being sponsored in a competition. Waterdeep's Festival of Heroes, which sees the chosen parties delving into the depths of Undermountain, risking life and limb to suppress the evils and monsters below to protect the city above. The dungeon of the Mad Mage is filled with danger, treasure, glory, and mysteries yet to be revealed. Come watch the journey from humble beginnings into heroic legend as we adapt a campaign years in the making into an illustrated web series with art from Doodle Poodle, author of Tales from the Tables. We pride ourselves in converting hours-long sessions into smoothly paced episode with limited animation, music, blood, sweat, and tears. Get in on the ground floor of something great and join the Forever DMs table today. Link in the description. They accepted the big bad evil guy's offer to join him in their initial meeting. They were all like, "Yep, sounds good, we're in." I had not thought to plan for genocide to sound quite so enticing to them. They defeated the big bad evil guy, a white dragon, and escaped a giant avalanche by riding the severed dragon head into the valley. I improvised some dex checks, and the barbarian used his giant axe to control the direction. It was a little bit of rule of cool, but it was the ending of the campaign, and it was really fun. Used telepathy to convince some bandits in Rime of the Frost Maiden that the magical cauldron that created food was a divine relic, and that stealing it would result in divine retribution upon them. Well, it worked. As a player, I fell through the roof of a Thieves Guild warehouse right into the middle of the conversation I was trying to eavesdrop on. Turns out even criminals can understand the awkwardness that comes from falling into someone's house while manticore hunting. It was night, so nobody could see the beast fly away. Also, manticores are very silent flyers. My players wanted to go from point A to point B with haste. They had a flying carpet, which was faster than horses because the area was mountainous. It would be about an hour-long flight, but the weight limit of the carpet was causing them a bit of trouble. One of the players asked about the dimensions of the bag of holding, and we decided that the dwarf character could fit inside it. But, I said, "You could only breathe for a minute." So they filled one of the cooking pots with water, cast water breathing on the dwarf, who jumped into the bag of holding, kept her head in the water-filled cooking pot, and breathed water for about an hour. Since the bag had a static weight, they were all able to fly with the carpet. Still the best interaction and rule of cool I have witnessed. After we played through Waterdeep Dragon Heist, we continued with homebrew adventures in Waterdeep, and the party came up against the Xanathar Guild. I had another faction steal Silgar, Xanathar's beloved goldfish, and write a letter claiming to be the leader of the City Watch, saying that they'd eaten him. This caused a lot of chaos, with the Xanathar Guild being ordered to start killing the City Watch. The group managed to find the real person responsible and convince Xanathar that they would bring them to justice. When I was role-playing a mad and angry Xanathar, ranting and raving, one of the players suggested that he should eat the other leader as retribution. But I totally went with it, so they killed the person responsible and packed his body full of Midnight Tears poison that they'd acquired during that adventure. This poison acts only at midnight. They brought Xanathar the body, he ate it, and then they worked with a few other groups to plan an assault on the Xanathar Guild right at midnight, after Xanathar was nearly dead from the poison. It was still a tough fight, but it was an amazing plan that stemmed from something as trivial as someone eating a goldfish. Hey, when you gotta John Wick someone, do it right. Saying to a devil, "I'll swap my soul for them," to free a player caught me off guard, and I said, "Sure." I had heard them as referring to a singular weak level 2 PC, but I forgot that this chain devil had captured 2 souls, so them referred to both. It ended up being a 2-for-1 deal, and that's how the party accidentally freed Yander Sunstar, a high-level vampire, as a bonus. Devils, know your pronouns! It was me! I was playing a Soul Knife rogue and was on an 80 or 90 foot high cliff after killing some enemies up high, while leaving a couple down low for the rest of the party. When a monster downed a party member, it came back around to me. I thought, fuck it! So I jumped off and rolled a much-loved success, allowing me to use my bonus action, Soul Knife Teleport, to go straight back up over the top of the monster and then fall further. Well, I landed on it. I failed a dexterity saving throw and proceeded to get crushed by a little 5'2" changeling. Yeah, I was in single-digit HP and in trouble, but God called and sent me, its best rod, to do its work. That's actually really good. There was a time when a doppelganger took on the appearance of one of my party members. As a paladin, I asked them which god they thought I worshipped to figure out who the doppelganger was. 2 things my paladin hadn't realized. Number 1, the doppelganger could read minds. And number 2, I hadn't actually told the rest of the party who I worshipped. The rest of my party immediately jumped on the one that gave the right answer. An incredibly clever move by a fellow player, but so wildly risky that I still think it qualifies. We were level 17, dealing with a Save the Multiverse endgame. My friend, the College of Eloquence Bard, was given a magical item that allowed her to talk to a number of gods once a day for the purpose of contacting interested parties to aid us in our endeavor to preserve existence as is. Mistopheles was one of the cabal of evil trying to reboot existence for various reasons. His being that he wanted to rule instead of Asmodeus. Naturally, the bard was like, guys, what if we asked Asmodeus for help? He doesn't want Mistopheles to win, right? Ultimately, she didn't ask for help. She merely offered up knowledge of Mistopheles' plan and our expected timeline for the end of the battle, so that he could use that information as he pleased. Oh, that's not going to go well. With a 30+ roll on Persuasion, reliable talent plus expertise plus high charisma, it seemed like he believed her. And for the rest of the game, all we knew was that Asmodeus didn't seem to be punishing us for bothering him. When Mistopheles rocked up to the final battle with 4 other god-demigod avatars, Asmodeus opened up a portal and yanked him right out of there! It was possibly one of the things that actually made it even possible for us to survive. I could just see him going through the portal, and you get yoinked! Oink! I can't speak for the others, but I'll tell you the dumbest move I've made that actually worked. I was playing a level 4 lore bard with a fairly limited spell list. The party was facing off against some generic cultist spellcasters. One of the cultists casts Fireball. I used my reaction to say, Counter spell! After a few seconds, the DM said, You're level 4. Do you have Counterspell? To which I replied, I say Counterspell charismatically. The DM graciously allowed me to roll a persuasion check, which resulted in a roll well above 20. The cultist's spell fizzled, the table laughed, and the DM said that was my one use of the dumb thing for the campaign. It was a good time. Playing 3.5, the party was around level 12. One of the major villain groups was a respected wizard's college, whose professors had gone evil and joined the big bad evil guy who was trying to destroy the world. The party tracked the evocation professor to a massive underground cavern where the wizard was doing something with a big crystal pillar in the middle. The guy was a few hundred feet away from the party, before counting the big cliff they were on top of, having entered at the top of the cavern. The party had no idea what he was trying to do, but he seemed very distracted. This was supposed to be a hint that they could sneak up on him and get in a nice ambush, since they knew he had level 9 spells and taking him in a straight fight was a terrible idea. Well, most of them got this. However, the ranger instead said, Hey, I could just shoot him from here, and then did so. Not a good idea, champ, to the rest of the party's horror as they were getting ready to stealthily descend. The Ranger critted on the surprise round. He was a deep wood sniper, so his crits hurt a whole lot. Still, it wasn't enough to bring down the evocation professor. Initiative was rolled. The evocation professor won, and Meteor stormed the party, and most people almost died. There was no way they could take another one of those. They were all like, shit, we've got one round to skedaddle before he hits us with another one of those. The Ranger, again, had other ideas. Haha, I bet I can hit him again. Rolls another nat 20. The evocation professor dies. At least he cleaned up his mistake. I played a Warforged Battlemaster fighter and had a ridiculous strength score. We were fighting a spider snake, and I didn't have a weapon with the reach to hit it, so I started grabbing cups from the house we were hiding in and just chucking them out a broken window. I got 3 successful trip attack maneuvers in a row with coffee cups as improvised thrown weapons. Every time it went down, our party would rush out of the house it was attacking and beat the hell out of it, then rush back in when it got back up. I also grappled it while it was already prone and kept it down for a few extra turns. The DM looked super defeated since we weren't supposed to kill it yet. We were still only about level 3 and were missing party members at the time. My players were fighting a frog-hemoth. The frog swallowed the monk, who broke free of the grapple and launched into an attack, finishing with a flurry that included a dexterity saving throw or prone condition. After some book reading to figure out why it shouldn't work according to the rules, he punched the frog so frickin' hard from the inside that it knocked it down. Not a DM, but one of our other players is a bit of a stereotypical girly girl. Through some means or another, pretty much all her characters end up wearing full-on Disney princess-style ball gowns. Our DM knew she was like this, so he gave her a special magical dress made of dragon scales, allowing it to function as armor. Style plus function. Well, one time we were fighting a dragon, and she got the idea that if her dress was made of dragon scales, maybe it could cut through dragon scales? So she pirouetted, rolled a nat 20 performance check, and the DM basically agreed to turn the edges of her dress into, effectively, a pizza cutter. She got to use her dress as a weapon, cutting through monsters with the hem of it. It was insane. Dumb in how the situation sounded, not in execution. A player had a rope of climbing where the command word was, "Yes, Daddy." The party was on an infiltration quest when a barred door dropped. The party tied one end of the rope to the barred door and asked, "Does this weigh more than 3,000 pounds? They were told it probably didn't, so they sat down and said, "Yes, Daddy," enough times to lift the door with the rope. I am not saying it more than twice. They were rather adamant about lowering the door and taking the rope with them afterward. Operation New Hire is a meme tactic in our group. Usually the most charismatic character will lead the charge to enter the dungeon or stronghold. When the enemy approaches, we tell them, "I'm a new hire from town. Just transferred in from the boonies. I'm from the Bandits Union," or whatever else we can think of. The dice tell a story, and the dice love. ONH. Different DMs, different players, so long as there's one person who witnessed ONH. It will be brought up at least once in a campaign. That is Operation New Hire. We do have players who are always annoyed that it works, but with the dice in the open, it hasn't failed. Hey everyone, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and if you'd like early access to videos, maybe some outtakes and some other goodies, and would like to keep our lights on, which is a huge favor to all of us, make sure to join our membership. You don't have to though. We love you all. See you next time. Bye for now.